Hi everybody, this is Jack R, otherwise known as Raconter1, and since I just uploaded the video of a 1978 Camaro, I thought this was a good opportunity to let you know about the Camaro that I had, a 1975 model. And taking you back in time, the vehicle that was in my stable, brand new one, just purchased before this, was a 1974 Vega, and that was the hatchback. And I had a carryover of a 1968 Dodge Coronet 500 hardtop, and both those vehicles I purchased new. But by 1975 I figured I'd like to have a Camaro, so I ordered one. And the color of the car is the very same as the one in the 1978 Camaro video. It's a kind of brownish, light brown, metallic. It's almost a bronze color, and with a brown vinyl top. Now, the car had power steering and power brakes, and it had automatic transmission, and the only other extra that it had on it was that vinyl top, brown vinyl top. I got it at about as close to a stripped Camaro price that you could imagine. 350 engine, but a 2-barrel carb. And so I waited faithfully for it to arrive. Finally arrived at the local small dealer and got in the car and found out that the seat wouldn't lock in the track. So that was a bit of a glitch, so that had to be fixed before I could drive it off. And performance, I thought, was very good. This only had a 2-barrel carburetor, but with that 350 engine, it really moved out. And the handling, I always thought, was very good. It only had a 3-speed manual transmission. I didn't put the money up front to buy a, I said it had an automatic. It didn't have an automatic. It had a 3-speed manual transmission. And that was kind of a mistake, because all the cars at the time had 4-speed manual, and I wanted a 4-speed manual. So that began a journey that didn't turn out too well. Anyhow, the car, as I said, performed well, but I started noticing problems with the paint. The paint on the hood particularly was a problem that had to be repainted, and never really had much of a problem with rust, but the interior plastic was not too good. It was, by today's standards, crude. It was a tan in color, and that tan plastic didn't wear well. I think the darker colors did better. In fact, if it had been charcoal or interior, I think it would have been okay, but not that tan plastic stuff. Now, the seats, the upholstery on the seats, that wore very well, and never had a problem with that, as opposed to the upholstery in my previous Dodge cars, which had problems with the sewing of the upholstery itself. So anyhow, the upholstery was good, the car performed well, but then I decided I had to have a 4-speed manual. Well, I got a 4-speed manual, it was made available to me, so off we went to the independent garage, and they installed the 4-speed manual. So it seemed to be okay. However, the clutch was very, very heavy after that installation. So I think that was the beginning of the of the idea that there's something wrong here. And later on, I got a speeding ticket, and the officer said that I was going like 10 miles over the limit, and not by my speedometer. And so I told him about that. He said, well, and this was, by the way, California Highway Patrol, and very nice guy. He said, well, I'll tell you what to do. He said, go to a speedometer calibration place, which there was one locally, and he said, get it calibrated, and then take that to court and tell them and show them the proof that you had it calibrated and what the beginning and the ending reading was. And sure enough, it was off. It was way off by about 10 miles an hour. So I took it to court, and I was maybe about the fourth case heard, and this traffic court, and before he started, the judge evidently had a rash of these, and he said what the proper procedure was to establish that you weren't speeding. And sure enough, it was exactly what I had done. So by the time I got to my case, I showed him the evidence, and he said, you have done exactly what I said to do, and he promptly dismissed the case. So that was one traffic fine that I didn't have to pay. So very happy about that. So, okay, now we had what happened evidently was that when they put in the new transmission, they didn't look at the cable, the speedometer cable, and in that cable there was as I remember, there was an area there where there was like a reduction drive. So you just had to match the gears with the final drive on the transmission to get the right speedometer reading, and it just wasn't done. So when they put in the 4-speed, they just didn't calibrate the speedometer. So that's what happened there. So the problems didn't really end there. Again, I was driving the car one day, and the car was maybe about 4 years old, but suddenly I heard a bang and the clutch gave out. And as I said before, the clutch had a lot of resistance, and so I knew there was something wrong. So my guess is that when they put in that transmission, the alignment between the clutch and the transmission was not right, and or the clutch was insufficient for the job, and because I don't ride the clutch, and I didn't wear it out, so I decided it was time to trade. So that's when the Camaro went to the dealer to be traded. So that was the end of the Camaro experience. It was a nice car. It handled well, but I made the mistake of not having it equipped the way I should have when I ordered it. It would have been better if I had simply bought it off the lot and not had to wait, and probably would have gotten it at a better price, because at that point the dealer would probably want it moving out of his inventory. So that's my tale of the Camaro. So thanks for listening.